What's up, world? It's your girl, Ebonée, aka the Princess of New York, and I am back with another interview. Today, I have another blast from the not too distant past. I've got my girl, Cristina Cho, in the house. Stick around, we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my friend, Cristina Cho, to the building. What's up,
The
Christina? How
distant
are you?
building, but here I'm great. It's great to see you.
I'm so glad that you're here. We talk all the time, but we said we're going to get you back on the show, and here you are. Tell my friends at home a little bit about who you are for the people who were not able to see you the last go around.
Okay. All right. Well, I am a playwright. I am based in New York City, but I live in Jersey, where I grew up. I tried to go into acting, but I didn't feel like it was really for me. So I've always liked writing, and I always like creating things more than I guess following other people's stuff. So I am a writer. I am very happy to be writing, to be honest, and that's pretty much the nitty gritty. I have two plays out. One is called Pink Leather, and the other one is called what we're about to talk about. So,
All right, and that one is called You and I. So why don't we just hop right into it? Because if people want to know what Pink Leather is about, they can actually go. They could check out the link in the description box, and they can check out that interview below. So let's just get right into the nitty gritty of it all
mm.
and talk about You and I.
Okay, well, you and I, the Korean title is Lana, which is Korean for you and I. It's basically a love story, but it's my version of a love story.
Mhm.
It's um, the inspiration behind the story is Jonghyun's 2016 album She Is, and Truman Capote's Breakfast at Tiffany's, the novella, not the movie, by the way. No offense to the movie. The movie's great, but the I'm a book maven, so the book is always better.
Mhm.
The main character, she is known as the girl. When I thought of her, I thought of two things. She's a modern day Holly Golightly, only she's Korean American, living in New York City. But unlike Holly Golightly in the in the novella, she is well endowed on her own. She's financially independent, but she has a lot of she's a bit of a party girl. Has quite a few lovers, both male and female. And for those who know with Jonghyun's album She Is, it's a concept album, and it's basically a guy who's singing 9 love songs about a girl that he loves.
Mhm.
And when I listen to the album, I think of it like a movie, and I'm like always wondering what this girl is like. So the girl is pretty much, as I always told people, my female response to that album. And I just went by the lyrics in all the songs, and I dreamt up this dream world for her, and I pretty much created this world around her, and then I just set it in both in different cities.
Hmm. Now, what are the different cities that this story is based in?
Well, it's funny because when I first did the first draft, I had it in Los Angeles and London. But right now, it takes place between Seoul, South Korea, and in New York City, and one scene in Washington D.C. because she's originally from Alexandria, Virginia, which is
Mm.
close to D.C. I pretty much put all of my passions in this story, and my two favorite cities here in America are New York City and Washington D.C.
Okay.
So, but the reason why I put Korea in is because I am Korean American myself. I wasn't born in Seoul though. I was born in Gunsan. So as we all know, Korean culture is very popular here in America, and me, just happy to see that. To be honest, I definitely had to put something Korean in there, And also, it has a lot to do with the fact that I'm learning the language.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to celebrate that part of myself. And one thing about us Korean people, nothing in the world makes us more proud than our culture. So it's kind of a celebration about us in a way.
I love that. I love that. I think every culture just enjoys celebrating, their culture and like who they are, But like one amazing aspect of this
Definitely.
play that we don't see a lot of is like the integration of two languages. I love that.
Yes, I wrote it in both English and Korean, or at least the Korean that I know. But I had to double check with my friends from South Korea to make sure um, my language was on point still.
Hmm.
And real quick though, it's very funny. I've got some controversy about that, believe it or not.
Really? What was the controversy?
Oh, well, one person told me, not giving names, when I was telling her my idea, when I was working on it back in 2018, after I did the stage reading for Pink Leather, she
Mhm.
said, "You can't do that because no one's going to understand what you're saying."
Hmm.
And I'm not going to, let's just say that I just said to her, "Well, I'm going to try. I'm going to
Yeah.
try, but in the back of my head, and I'm putting this in a nice way, I'm going to do it anyway because
Mhm.
no one's going to take that little pride away from me." Another person told me, this is going to be hard to have on stage because there's no subtitles. But I'm one of those people that I've always liked watching foreign language movies. Like I I can't understand a word of Japanese. Well, maybe a few here and there, but I love Japanese films and
Mhm.
I just enjoy it, subtitles or not. So if you really sit there and watch people, then you know what they're saying. Or at
Right.
least that's how I interpret it. So,
Right, you get the gist of it at least. I mean, there are so many other productions, films, TV shows where they speak another language and we
mhm,
don't know what's going on. Like I was just watching a show the other
exactly.
day and they were speaking another language and they didn't have any subtitles or anything. And we were just supposed to sit there like, oh, 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 okay. And we kind of get the gist of it. And some of it, like it was a language that I understand conversationally, but like even I wasn't getting everything.
Mhm.
I'm not fluent in it, I'm only conversational, but they didn't have subtitles and like this was like a mainstream show. So I mean people do it all the time. It's just a lot of people don't hear Korean a lot, you know what I mean? So I guess maybe that was it, or maybe she was just kind of being selfish because she doesn't understand it, and
I
so I don't know.
I think what it is, there's still people. I think the fact that some people in this country they're afraid of other languages because maybe it's something that's unfamiliar to them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because even when I tell people that I like watching foreign language films, they say, "How do you understand it?" Well, subtitles, and there's none. You just watch.
Yeah.
It's either that or people have, you know, I guess it's still something that's rather unique, and people have this thing about sticking to tradition, maybe.
Hmm.
So but you know me, I'm the type of person who likes to try things differently.
Yeah.
I like to be unique if I can.
Hmm.
So,
I love that. I absolutely love the integration. Like actually I was part of the private reading that you hosted, late
yes, you
in
were.
2020. So
And she did wonderful, by the way.
thank you. Thank you so much. It was really fun and like it's different from because to prepare, you read the script and obviously I'm a little close with the writer. So I get some perks and access to certain things that some other people might not have. And so it's different, reading about it or
Mm,
seeing it versus actually hearing it and witnessing it live and in living color. Like I just thought it was absolutely amazing and it just brought another like dimension and dynamic to it. I thought it was
thank
awesome
you.
and it's going to be
Thank
so
you.
amazing when the masses get to hear it. Like that was just a private reading that we had, for some of your friends in, some of the fandom, like the K-pop fandom, so imagine when other people get to see it. And like you said, it's like a
Mm.
celebration of your culture. And I think it's such a good thing, because
It,
not for nothing, when people, not speaking stereotypically, but stereotypically speaking, when people hear Asian American, they think Chinese, Japanese, just Chinese. They don't think about any other culture or ethnicity, or nation or whatever that might
mm.
be, included in that. So like this is a way to say, hey, we're here too. So I think that's absolutely
Well,
amazing.
us Koreans are coming up, but you're right about that. Yes. I think I watched this video with Pierre XO.
Hmm.
He's on YouTube. He said when people see Asian people, they think only Japanese or Korean now
Mm.
and Chinese, but
Hmm.
there's more than just, just us,
Yeah.
us East Asians. There's Southeast Asian,
Hmm.
Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, Indonesia. Then there's South Asian. I mean, we have a South Asian vice president now.
Hmm.
India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, those places there. And it's funny because people don't realize that India is part of it is Asian.
Yeah.
And how many people have I told? Yeah, Kamala Harris, she is Asian American.
Hmm.
But I mean, the concept of celebrating Asian culture is so wide. It's just not, one culture.
Yeah.
So, but I guess, but because I don't really know other cultures, I'm sticking to mine for now. But I would love to learn about other ones, no
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah, I think that's so important, just to, branch out and learn about other people. So we talked about the inspiration behind you and I, but like who are you targeting, when you're telling this story? Is there like a targeted audience, or is there anything else? Like what story are you exactly telling, other than, it being a love story, and, it being based in, Korea and New York predominantly?
Mm. Well, it's interesting. When I started writing the story, I thought of it as, like I said, it's a love story. Um, I don't want to give that part away, but keeping mum on that, I
Okay.
think what it's also about mental health,
Mm.
because mental health is such a controversial topic in the Asian American community, and your people are beginning to learn that with the unfortunate circumstances of what's going on with us since the pandemic has started.
Mhm.
Um, like we don't put our personal business out there or things like that. So I'm pretty much when you watch this play, you will see that even though this girl lives this glamorous life, I mean, I made her sound pretty glamorous, didn't I? She lives this pretty glamorous life and stuff. She still has, she's in a bad place in her life.
Mhm.
And I want to showcase or tell people, regardless of what community they come from, because I think mental health is an issue when depending it's just treated differently depending on where you come from.
Mhm.
I wanted to speak to people to say it's okay to feel a certain way. You have the right to your feelings. And since I'll give this spoiler out, okay, since most of it is monologues, and you have to, when you watch it, you have to kind of put yourself in her shoes and understand she has nobody to talk to.
Mm.
Could be due, because of her upbringing, because she's Korean American, or she as a woman who's out there in the world, a successful woman, she's probably too proud to admit that she needs help.
Mm.
Um, it talks about loneliness, sadness, but she's putting on a mask whenever she's interacting with her friends or with other people. And when she's by herself, it's also my way of saying you don't know how people are when they're alone.
Yeah.
And in a way, it has a lot to do with also how I kind of view the K-pop industry myself and what happened with Jonghyun. Um, And also, did you see Breakfast at Tiffany's? Even just the movie.
I've
You
seen.
did. Okay, so you know that Holly Golightly, even though she's very outgoing and she's a total extrovert, when she's by herself, she's falling apart from time to time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's something I try to bring on stage, especially with this, that humanistic side, that side that no one else sees.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because we're different behind closed doors. And, when the company goes home and the masses leave us, sometimes when you have a moment to decompress, you get to like let yourself free and let yourself go because everyone doesn't deserve to see those other intimate sides of you.
Yes, and I think sometimes we're afraid to show that too. So
Yeah.
I think also the hardest person to admit those things to is yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see this play, think of it either as two ways. She's talking to someone because she has no one else to talk to, or she's speaking her deepest thoughts.
Hmm.
That's all I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to give away on that part. But it's kind of like that,
Okay.
and I leave that as interpretation, as open interpretation. So
Okay. All right. With that, we're just going to take a quick break and we are going to let you hear an excerpt from You and I. Be right back.
Well, I did it. I wonder if he'll respond.
The Keko Talk notification goes off. She looks at her phone.
He's having dinner already and drinks with some of his friends. Oh well. But wait. 함께 오세요. Come join us. I'm at a bar in Hongdae right now.
She gets a new notification.
어느 술집이 있어? He's asking which bar I'm in. Interesting. He must have taken a real shine to me if he's curious to know where I am. But why? Oh, this message is in English. Do you understand what I asked? Or are you playing games with me? Smiley face and wink emoji.
Hey y'all, this episode is sponsored by La Creative Studio. My Sovereignty earrings and my unapologetically dope t-shirt is by them. So if you want to get yourself a set, visit the website lacreativestudio.com and get 15% off of your first purchase. Back to the show. Hey, welcome back to the show. So, what I want to talk about now is the GoFundMe that you have for You and I. We want to bring this to the stage. So, why don't we talk a little bit about that and how people can contribute and like the expectations of it and all that good stuff?
awesome. Well, right now I have a GoFundMe to hopefully I want to have this on stage by October of 2022. And now that theater's opening, that's hopefully fate is going to be working in my favor on that one. um, Basically, the interesting about the show is that we don't have a huge set in it. So it's mostly like say for example, a chair here and a projector in the background because believe it or not, when I was working on this, I was kind of somewhat inspired by experimental theater,
Mhm.
something that's very minimalistic and very simplistic, and no need for anything big and fancy. So um, yeah, I just want with this piece, I just want to get it on stage, of course, because I am really, I have to say, I am absolutely in love with this piece. I'm very proud of what I've been working on. I've been working on it for 2.5 years. So that's one thing. And the crew also, since the arts have been hit bad with the pandemic, it'll be nice to help out the crew and the actors who work so hard. You remember some of them from the presentation.
Mhm.
Our lead, the woman who I hope will come along for the lead, she's really awesome. And believe me, if I could pay her 1 million for that, I would. Not that I'm asking for $1 million, but you get what I mean.
Yeah. Well, how much are you asking for? How much are you trying to raise to, get this production on stage and to be able to pay the cast and crew?
Aiming to raise 15,000, but I'm also hoping that I can have someone on board as a producer as well. So that would be nice to have a co-producer.
So now we've been mentioning, or you've been mentioning rather, Jonghyun. Did I pronounce his name right?
You tried. That's okay.
I did. I really
Well, if
tried.
I had to show you how to properly pronounce his name, I would. Okay, I would have to teach you Korean, but here you go. Jonghyun.
Jonghyun.
Oh, good.
Really, I did. Oh,
You did pretty well. Here's another thing I want to mention real quick. I appreciate you trying to say his name because when it comes to our names, especially if we have names that are pretty well known in our ancestral lands, they don't take time to try and pronounce our names.
um,
So at least you did, and you did well, by the way. So I
thank
appreciate
you.
that. I just want to let you know that.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, I'm a stickler for names, especially my name being Ebonée. Some people,
Yes.
mispronounce it and say other names, but it's Ebonée. So I'm a stickler for pronunciation. But you've been saying his name quite a few times, and everyone doesn't know who he is. I know who he is because you're my friends, and so I already know who he is. But tell my friends
My
at home a little bit about
my
him.
obsession my little tiny my healthy obsession has been pretty well known, hasn't it? Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'll give you a rundown. Jonghyun, it was, may he rest in peace,
Mm,
was the lead vocalist of the K-pop group Shiny.
mm,
Unfortunately, he had, aside from, I'm not gonna, well, first of all, let me say he was a brilliant songwriter and was a talented singer. I mean,
mm.
you've heard him sing. I've
Yeah.
played his music for you a couple of times, hoping to somewhat get you on my side with me on that one. Um, and he it's so funny when you talk about him because the impact that he's made on my life as an artist has makes my heart flutter in a way.
Mhm.
But okay, putting that aside, unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He had some issues with depression. Um, so coming from the show point of view, which is the Shiny fandom, we a lot of us are hoping to preserve his legacy, and I guess in many ways, and I will admit this, I'm hoping that this piece will preserve his legacy somehow.
Mhm.
Um, but what people don't know about him is that, or maybe they do or they don't, he set the trends of what you see in K-pop today. Collaborating with other artists. I mean, we have BTS now.
Mhm.
Um, he he was with SM Entertainment, which is known for being an idol manufacturing company. Like they produced the songs and you just went along with it. But when he put out his first solo EP, he produced the whole thing by himself,
Mhm.
and he didn't follow the expectations of his record company. Which I have to say, that mindset helped me get through writing this, especially when I was getting the controversy of putting Korean in. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do whatever I want.
Mhm.
So if he and what he put out was, it was just, to me it was just brilliant. It's songs that are very personal, not just to his life, but he uh to his fans. Like when he did Story Up, the collection, he emailed. This might sound familiar with you because you know how I am.
Mhm.
He emailed, I guess when he was on Blue Night, when he's hosting his radio show, he put out, like, I guess an email or something to the listeners to say, tell me your stories.
Mm.
And he wrote songs about them from all the stories he got from listeners. And and since it's still June and it's Pride Month, South Korea is a very conservative country, so he was for the LGBTQIA community. And unfortunately, he got backlash for that, but he didn't give in to the backlash. But the impact that he has on me as a writer, I think it's that raw emotion and accepting your own feelings, because I kind of pushed myself emotionally to write this, to really put out a great story.
Yeah.
And I have a lot to thank for him for that. Real quick, to anyone who's Shawo listening to this, I put little clues that only the fans would get if they listen to it carefully.
Mm.
Obvious things like the moon, and actually some of the dates that you see that take place in the certain scenes in the play are milestones or moments that we fans would know from his life in real life. Actually, I was thinking about this too. It's very interesting when you do tributes to someone who passed away. When you, I kind of learned that when you do something that's a tribute to someone who's no longer here but heavily inspired you, you
Mhm.
don't want to copy them like 100%, or you don't want to copy them at all, but you want to keep that essence of who they were when they were here as artists and stuff in your work.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I don't know how well I did here, but I think I hope I did a great job at it.
Mhm.
So for those who know him like I do, they would definitely get it.
Yeah.
And I
Judging
guess I made a
from
little something for everybody.
judging from the live reading that we did, and when some members of the fandom were there, you got a really good reception from that. And it seems like you hit the nail on the head. So I think that's going to be wonderful. And that'll be something
Mm,
that you could put out to everyone when they get to see it, when it's finally on stage, and like ask them, if you're going to have like
mm.
Q&As, at the end of some of the shows or and whatnot, how they received it. And did they pick up on all the little Easter eggs that you laid out for them?
Yeah.
But I want to talk next because I know you have a blog now, which is you can access it through your website, but there is a direct link to your
Mhm.
blog. And tell us a little bit about the blog and like how the blog got started.
Called Joe to the World, and how I got that name was I wished one of my friends happy birthday on Instagram, and he said he hashtagged Joe to the World, and I've always wanted to start a blog, but I did not know what to call it. So
Mm-hmm.
once I saw hashtag Joe to the World, I'm like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So it just stuck there, and I love the name. It's funny.
Me too. So that actually sounds like a good segue to one of my favorite parts of the show, which is the gems. You know what this part is about because you've done it before.
Yes.
You've done it before.
Yes.
Do you have any gems to share with my friends at home?
I guess the usual, keep educating yourselves, because especially if you're a writer, because that's gonna definitely bring your work to life. Actually, that's the last question you asked me the last time I got interviewed by you. What do
Mm-hmm.
I say to people who want to start writing? And I said, just do it.
Yeah.
So um, I still stand by that. Just do it. Um, I think I think what I'll do instead is I'll give you a little something that I learned when writing Nuana, You and I. Um, if you have something different, just do it. Just enjoy taking the risk, because theater, I think, in any kind of art form, is so uniform, where it's hard to find something that's unique.
Yeah.
And these days, I think, there's more representation for everybody, but we're not near to where we need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that if you have something different, if you have something that's unlike anything you've seen before, one of the things I've learned from promoting this is just be proud of your work, and show that to the world.
Yeah. So I want to make sure that everybody knows how to follow you. Make sure you follow my friend Cristina
Oh
Cho
yes, I
on,
forgot.
on
I'm sorry, I went
Instagram.
off track.
But we do that all the
Okay,
time.
go
Like
on my.
our conversations are all over the place, but we know how to like bring them all
I
in. So
know. We could talk about we talk about everything from food to, by the way, the food that you make is absolutely amazing. From food to what's going on in the world to
yeah.
scripts and arts,
Hmm.
music, everything. You and I can talk about everything. My God.
Yeah.
Um, Go on my Instagram. You will find the link to the fundraiser. Any amount at all that you can donate would be of great help for this campaign.
Hmm.
Um, you can also find a handle to Troll to the World. It will in the link to the blog and my website where you can learn more about me. It's
Hmm.
pretty amazing because the last time we talked, I didn't have a website or anything. I just had my
Yeah.
Instagram.
Hmm. So that's
So
dope.
it's nice to be moving up.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's nice to be moving up, and I guess I can show the world who I am and hopefully bring a little something new to the industry.
Yep.
That's how you can find me everywhere.
There's also YouTube. You don't have a lot of stuff up there yet, but I know that you're just starting your YouTube channel.
No,
So if you just search Cristina Cho on YouTube, you can find her there as well. Make sure you follow me, your girl
I
Ebonée Forever, if
might.
you're not doing so already. And make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, Ms. Ebonée Online. And until next time, y'all, stay fabulous. Peace.